Good morning, everybody.
Good
Hopefully you can
morning.
see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right. Welcome to Pre-PELS 2. And I'm going to be launching a poll quickly just to see if everybody is awake this morning. So here we go. Let me know if you can see it. What is the most Rotarian thing you've done this month? Attended a meeting at 7 a.m., volunteered for something before knowing the details, bought raffle tickets, said service above self, or joined a committee accidentally.
Ooh,
I
okay.
have done that last one, just not this month.
Been assigned to a committee without knowing.
All right, good. Looks like most of here we go. Now it's ramping up. Give it 1 or 2 more seconds. All right, that's everybody. So the top one was volunteering for something before knowing the details at 37%. All good Rotarians do that at some point. So thank you very much for participating in the poll. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Here's a quick overview of what we'll cover today. Zoom etiquette, like always, an opening message from District Governor-elect Jeff Weinrack. We'll talk about Rotary programs for young leaders. We'll take a quick break and then service and your community. So for Zoom etiquette, I think everybody pretty much knows. Please turn on your camera if you can. I know some cameras are not working today, but if you can turn it on, that would be great. And then update your name in your little box on Zoom. So you put your cursor over your picture and you'll see 3 dots appear in the upper right-hand corner. If you click on that, you can rename yourself there, and please put your role and club name as much as you can fit. I know it can be quite a bit. Please do mute your mic when you're not speaking, and do participate when we get to the audience participation pieces. There will be those in this meeting today, and we do want to hear from you. We are a team. And please remember, we're all volunteers and doing the best we can. So I think Rotarians are some of the kindest people I know, so I don't even really need to say that, but I like to add it anyway. We're not getting paid the big bucks, as you know. So, all right. Now I'll turn it over to Jeff, District Governor-elect Jeff Weinrack, for an opening message.
Hi, everyone. It is great to see you. Thank you for taking time out on a Saturday morning to join us. Hope you find this motivational and that we all take away something. As someone mentioned earlier, we're always in a learning mode. I was thinking about one of the first conferences that I went to after I joined Rotary. It was probably 2 years after I joined, and everything was still overwhelming, trying to wrap my arms around what this was. And the speaker, this was, I want to say, in the early 2010s. Public image was not yet a major part of Rotary clubs and kind of the Rotary experience. We were just kind of getting acclimated to that idea. And the speaker asked the attendees, what do you think is a better description of a Rotary club? Is it a membership organization that does service, or is it a service organization with members? I found that profound. I thought it was an interesting question. I don't know if either one of them is a perfect description, but I'm wondering if you had heard that before, or if you haven't, do you have any thoughts on just the idea of what type of organization we are and how service plays a critical role in what our clubs are and do? You can just unmute and speak up. But I was just curious because I hadn't really thought about that question in a while.
Yeah, Jeff, this is Grady. That was the question in South Carolina and continues here in Albuquerque, phrased almost identically. So maybe it's going around. I would say our responses were generationally divided. Um, the older, well, the more experienced members absolutely thought it was a member organization. and the younger generations wanted to switch that to a service organization. But that tension is alive and well.
That's really interesting, Grady. Thank you.
That
was gonna, yeah.
Sorry.
It
Go ahead.
depends on your membership. If you've got an established club that they're just there for the membership, they're not into the service so much anymore. So I think it could apply both ways.
Thank you, Bianca. You know what I like about the question, and it's interesting, Grady, that question is still floating around. The first part is more of a description of the organization, like we are a membership organization or we're a service organization. The second part is more of the what it does. So, you know, it's interesting, and that idea of age is very interesting in how they describe a Rotary Club. Again, I don't know if either one of them is a perfect description, but just the thought of how you phrase it was really interesting.
I worked with friends on service projects before women were allowed into Rotary. So I came to it from the service direction and then joined later on when it was open to women.
Thank you, Donna.
I just
go
have
ahead.
to share, I was at a training in Calgary and I heard a description I had never heard before, which is Romeo, Rotarian older men eating out. And they were asking, that's exactly what they were asking. Is that what we want our club to be, or do we want our club to be more service? So, but Romeo.
Thank you, Laura. Well, whatever best words we use to describe, service is obviously a critical part, and look forward to diving into service this morning. Thank you all.
Jeff, thank you, everybody. Let me share again. Okay, so from here, we're going to move into the first part, Rotary programs for young leaders. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dan Garrison.
Welcome. Sorry, my camera is not working today. We are dealing with the young leaders. Rotary statement is that Rotary believes in developing the next generation of leaders. Our programs help younger leaders build leadership skills, expand education, and learn the value of service. We have a range of programs that are presented to do that, from the four-way essay contest, which is introducing ethics to eighth graders and their chance to write about ethics. The Rotary Youth Leadership Award, a RILA camp, where juniors, young men and women who have just finished their junior years in high school, are able to get leadership training, learn to develop working relationships. And I know of a friend whose daughter went to RILA. She went to RILA and now she's in her 40s. And she and her cabin mates are still in touch.
Wow.
It's had that big an impact. And that's not an uncommon kind of thing. The Rotary Youth Exchange, a year-long experience in another culture. It's priceless.
Compañeros de cabina todavía están en contacto.
And it adds maturity, expands the horizons of these young people. And when we address that correctly and bring them back in, and they talk to in their schools and in our clubs about their experiences, it expands the horizons of others also. And then we have Interact. Interact is for young people from the ages of 12 to high school graduation. Interact is the long-term contact that we can have with the young people and give them the training. Interact uses the uh, learning process called service learning, and it is developed through the National Leadership, Youth Leadership Committee, and Rotary has adopted that and uses it. One high school where it has an Interact club, parents saw what the service learning was doing for their kids. And now that school has 5 sections of service learning as part of their curriculum. Um, the kids learn how to find the needs in their community, determine if it's really a need, find out what resources would be necessary to address that need, develop those resources, and then deliver the service. And I know 2 junior girls 4 years ago wanted to do a literacy night. They had it designed where there were people who could do, they could go to any section and there was someone doing a talk or engaging in an activity, no matter what age or what interest. They had someone there who was tied to that interest, and they were leading a group in those activities. That was 4 years ago. That now has become a yearly program, and the Interact Club at that school puts on a literacy night every year. So we're in a country where we don't take our young people as seriously as other countries do. And if you've traveled, you probably noticed this. Uh, the we're always telling our young people they don't know enough, they don't have the experience, they just don't understand how things are really done, etc. And we have very few people that actually step up and give them the opportunities to develop the ideas and the training and the experience. So Interact, youth exchange, RILA are the ways that we can do that through Rotary. And it's important to us because they're our future. And they're not just our future, they're everybody's future. And if we like a better one, I think we invest in the youth programs. Thank you, Jen.
Hello. What?
Thank you, Dan. Okay, so now let's turn it over to Joe Gudenrath with Ryla.
Good morning, everybody. Hello, my name is Joe Gudenrath. I was in your shoes a year ago as a president-elect, and now I'm actually the president of the Rotary Club of El Paso, in addition to the director of the Boys Ryla Camp. I started in my involvement with Ryla probably about 5 years ago following the pandemic, and have been a counselor and been the director last year and this year. I'm the stand-in today for Erin Connolly, who oversees Ryla, both the boys and the girls camp for the district. So I want to apologize for her absence and apologize that you're stuck with me, but I'm glad to be here with you. I just want to, before I get started again, being in your shoes a year ago, I want to thank everybody who's stepping in as a president-elect. to be president next year. This training was very helpful to me to learn about all the projects, programs, and services that are available through Rotary. And I'm sure you will take advantage of your year as a president. And I look forward. I'll be a resource to anybody who needs help. I haven't perfected everything, but we're doing our best down in El Paso. So again, congratulations to everybody who will be serving as president next year. Okay, on your screen, you see just a little brief schedule for what's going on in my presentation. If you want to go to the next slide, Jen. What is RYLA? It is our Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. For our district, we have established a week-long camp for 80 boys and a week-long camp for 80 girls. It's very intense. We're at Manzana Mountain Retreat. As you can see in that beautiful picture right there, the best sunrises every morning to greet you. But it is when we say intensive leadership program, that is what it is. We are up in the mountains and spending every day with each other from sun up to sundown. The slightly controversial issue is we don't allow cell phones or very limited cell phone use. So the distractions are gone, and we are really focused on working with these youth to develop their leadership skills. As Dan mentioned earlier, our district focuses on high school juniors, the kids between their junior and senior year. So going into their senior year, and again, it's a week for boys and 1 week for girls. We have the capacity for 80 campers at each camp. Next slide. So what are the goals? This camp is not to transform somebody's life from on the wrong track to the next leader. What we are really working to do is cultivate those kids within the various high schools throughout the district who have shown leadership potential, maybe need to be able to take their leadership skills to the next level. But those people who are identified as having leadership skills or the potential to be future leaders. We work with them to foster the community mindedness, kind of the ethics, the emphasis of Rotary, recognizing that one part of leadership is also giving back to your community, serving your community, being a part of your community. And what we're hoping to do with these kids is leave them with a sense, definitely the values of Rotary, definitely the skills of being the next leader, but those attributes that they can carry forward in life and long into their future. Next slide. So what is our camp format? The foundation is the 4-way test. That's something we're reciting before every meal, kind of like in our meetings. Activities are both intellectual and physical. And in the physical activities, there's always a Rotary twist to them. So the biggest athletes, the best athletes aren't necessarily going to be the best at the various physical activities. And then there's definitely the more intellectual, mental activities that can encompass all folks. We bring a variety of speakers throughout the week. In the picture there is Randy Rich. He's a former NFL player speaking to the boys about his life in the NFL and post-NFL. On the boys' side, we brought in astronauts, public speaking training, a variety of motivational folks to, again, drive home those leadership skills. Projects from poster contests to skits to talent shows, really developing their skills and building that teamwork, and then learning from each other. That's the one thing at the end of every day I want as the director, and when I was a counselor, it was getting the kids to reflect on the day and learning from each other. Next slide. So the district has the RYLA Foundation, which is kind of the nonprofit arm above all of RYLA. So as clubs, when you write your check to sponsor a camper, it will go to the RYLA Foundation. The RYLA Foundation does try to grow that investment to support not only the camp and the sponsorships, but other aspects of the camp throughout the year as we need equipment and supplies and things like that. That is one of the Rotary characteristics. When I became boys director, I didn't realize I was on the foundation board, but so now as the boys director, that's one of those things I learned. I'm also on the foundation board. Next slide. Again, the vision of RILA is provide an amazing experience for the campers to give them the opportunity to work with each other, to support each other, to grow, to develop teamwork skills. The boys and the girls, again, the camps are a little bit different, but the emphasis is still the same. So, what can clubs do? What do we need our clubs to do? Definitely the sponsorships or the scholarships of each camper. Each camp has the capacity for 80 boys and 80 girls. So we need 160 scholarships a year throughout the district. That's very important. Then we need the clubs to select the campers. Again, this isn't about taking somebody who's on the wrong path and we'll transform them. We want to identify those emerging leaders and utilize RILA as a way to reinforce those skills. And then counselors. We desperately need counselors for 80 kids to attend a camp and to be probably run perfectly. I would need 22 counselors to be there all week with us. So whether you're retired, I take a week off vacation. It's one of the best weeks of vacation I use. We are in critical need of that. They don't have to be Rotarians. It's great to have Rotarians lead, but we also can use this as a recruiting tool. Get those people who want to just do a service project, help youth, and maybe use that as the pathway into Rotary. I think that's about all my time. Is there another slide? If not, the last thing I would do is, as president, well, here's the information, camp dates for this year. Erin Conley is the district chair. There's the camp director information. Jill is the girls camp director. Identify a RILA point of contact within your clubs to facilitate the sponsorships, the student selection, and connection with RILA. And then lastly, I want to invite all clubs, take a day trip, come up to camp. As a president, maybe even just get a car full of Rotarians. You'll hear a lot about RILA, but seeing it is something different. Come on up for lunch, join us, and take a tour of the camp and see what the kids are doing. There's 2 weeks of boys camp and girls camp you can participate in. Coordinate that with me or Jill. We'd love to have you. Thank you very much.
Quick question from the audience. Warren asked, how much is a student scholarship this year?
This year it's $950. And that's the beauty of it. The scholarship covers all costs for the campers. So for the campers, there is no cost out of pocket for them except for maybe some snacks on the way there, on the way back, or during the trip.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe. All right, over to Bianca Cheney.
Unmute. There we go. Thanks, Joe. That was great. Then we move on to the youth exchange, which is also open to high schoolers. This is all high schoolers. Go ahead, Jen. Next slide. So a little bit about youth exchange. It actually started in 1929. 2 countries in Europe, just students exchanging. Rotary officially adopted it in 1950. So we're celebrating our 75 years this past year. And so it's a long-standing program sponsored by Rotary. It is geared for high school students, 15 to 18. And it's one of the ways that Rotary promotes peace. That's our big thing is peace. Rotary is peace. And so with these exchange students, it's a good way to do that, because when something happens in a foreign country, we can say, oh, shoot, what's going on? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I don't care because I don't know anybody. Or you say, hey, I've got a friend that lives there. Let me find out what's going on. So it's a way for us to make those connections. It is a cultural exchange with a school requirement. So I was listening to Jeff earlier. Is it a school requirement with a cultural, or is it now? So no, it is. The students are required to go to school. We do take some students who have graduated here. Some of our countries will take them, some will not. But even if they've graduated here, they are required to attend school there. Again, it's a 1-year program. I'll just put a quick plug in there. We are working on having a short-term program, probably not until next year, but just so you can be kind of watching for that. And it's so great for these students because they just learn. They learn about the world. Some students have never left their hometown. And now they're here in a foreign country, speaking a foreign language. I mean, learning that things can be done differently and still be successful. And of course, lifelong friendships, because you make those connections. And we've had students who have been back here several times, and we know students go back to their foreign countries and visit their families. Next. So the district committee is actually the one that runs the program, but it is managed locally by each club. We have about 9 people on our committee, and many of our international counterparts, we have met them at various conferences that we go to, either Rotary International, or we have local conferences, area conferences that we attend for training for us, and then we do get to meet our partners. So that's kind of fun. Part of our job as a district committee is we prepare the students. Once we receive the applications from the clubs, we interview them, we interview their parents. We have a couple of different training sessions for them on how to train them to be successful. We also have the orientations and fun. So some of our meetings, we get together with the inbounds and the outbounds. And inbounds are the students that we take in here. The outbounds are our students when they go out, but then they're also inbounds when they get there. So the students are both. And then we support the clubs. So like I said, it's managed by the clubs on a day-to-day basis. And if they have questions or concerns or issues, then they come to the district committee to resolve those or help with some ideas. And then, of course, our biggest task is maintaining compliance with both Rotary International and the Department of State. We are run by both of them, and they both have rules that we need to abide by in order to make sure we have a great program. Next. Oh, you'll see we have 70 years between those of us that are on the committee now. We have over 70 years of experience doing this. Okay, go ahead, Jen. So a little bit about the students. We are looking typically for sophomores or juniors when they apply. We take the applications starting in the fall. It's a year-long preparation process, interview in the fall, and then another interview in December, and then coordinating with our country contacts, and then they would go in July or August of the following year. They don't have to be straight A students. They just need to be good students. So passing grades, because it's going to be a challenge when they get to this foreign country. Everything's going to be in a different language. And so they have to be able to have some of those study skills and have good grades. We like for them to participate in extracurricular activities. That tells us that they're interested in getting involved in something outside of school in their host family, and willing to speak to groups. So yes, they do a presentation. We have them do one when they get here, a little bit about them and their family and their home and their country. And then we have them do another one before they go back home to tell us about their year and what they did and what they accomplished and things like that. And they do have to have parent support. There is the parents do provide most of the funding, and the club that sends the student abroad needs to just be there to support them and invite them to lunch a couple of times. Students who go on exchange, once they come back and they put that on a job application or a college application, it is going to be give them a one-up to the person who maybe has the same GPA, same extracurricular, but if they have gone on an exchange, it's going to move them up on the list of their applications. Okay, Jen. About the clubs. So we need clubs within the district to agree to host these students for the year. It's not a huge task, but it is a year-long task. So we typically would really want a committee of 2 to 3 people. 2 for sure, 3 would be better. And these people are the ones that find the host families and train them. You recruit the outbound students in the fall. You make sure that the student participates in the service projects, the Christmas party, whatever the club is doing, that the student participates. And then the cost is about $3,600. And that's a one-time fee for the club that covers everything that the district committee does with your student for the whole year. We have to have 4 weekends. That's per Department of State guidelines. So the 4 weekends, and that covers everything that we need: lodging, meals, admission to Meow Wolf or White Sands or whatever we're doing. So it's a one-time fee, and that way the we're not nickel and diming you every time we say, oh, we need another $10 for this or $100 for that. So that's what the clubs, and that's what we're doing. We are looking for those clubs. Okay, next slide. On the host family side, the host families, we like for the students to have 3 per year. It just gives them a lot of variety and a lot of because people do things differently. So it just gives them that a bigger experience. They are background checked, the families are background checked. And of course, we want them to work on teaching their students about our culture and learning, encouraging the student to teach us about their culture and their life. Making the student a member of your family. If you had kids and if they're in the house, great, not required. If their job is to do the dishes every night, then that exchange student does the dishes every night. I mean, we want them to be part of the family, not somebody set aside as a special guest. Not required to be a Rotary member to host, and family, couple, single, kids or not. We've had host parents that says, call me grandpa, because that's the age relation. And those students, some of them have siblings at home, and they move into a family that has no siblings. So that's a unique experience for them, not a requirement.
Just
All
a
right,
quick,
next slide.
hold on one second, Bianca, quick comment or question from Laura.
Hi, Bianca. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify because we had some questions in the chat about the costs. And our so in the past, I know it's been that the club pays 1,600 to the committee, which covers those, and then they pay the stipend fee, typically enough money for like a small gift for birthday, Christmas kind of thing, which is where the other 2,000 comes from. And then they pay for transportation to the closest committee member. Is that still the case, or are they paying the committee 3,600 flat and the committee's doing the other?
It depends whether if a club member transports a student to a required weekend and they want to get reimbursed from their club, that's between them. We cover the transportation for the district committee to transport. So yeah, okay. So that 3,600. I made a note that I need to clarify that a little bit. It is 1,600 to the district committee, and then other expenses, because the host club does provide the student with an allowance, and of course they cover the meals when they come to Rotary, which we encourage at least once a month. A lot of clubs do it every week, so that's where the 3,600 comes in.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
just as a note with that every week, I know Santa Fe High School would not let the student leave every week. They actually arranged to have somebody pick the student up every week, and the high school said no. So that's why it had to go down to a month for them. So sometimes it depends what your school allows.
In the school, right. And which class is the student, sometimes they says, hey, I have a test, I don't want to miss class or whatever. So I know in Roswell we do every week. So these are our current countries that we're working with. And as I said, we've met a lot of these people that are doing what we do in those foreign countries. And we feel very comfortable sending our students to these places to gain just a spectacular experience. We say it, it's not just a year, but it's a stepping stone to your life. So next slide has my contact information. We are in the cycle right now where we're looking for clubs who are willing to host a student. We are communicating with our foreign counterparts as far as who has students who want to come to the US and work with our district. So if you are interested, please let me know. Depends where you are. We will have a committee member do a presentation at your club if need be. And we are probably within the next 2-3 weeks. Kind of, if you're interested in hosting, please reach out to me. And right now, pretty much all we need is just the yes, you're interested and you're willing to commit the funding. Then everything else we've got a little bit of time to get your committee in place and all of that. So really quick, a lot of information. Let me know, reach out to me if you have any questions.
Thank you, Bianca. And we're going to move on, Laura, actually, because we're a little bit behind. So we'll come back at the end if that's okay. Moving on to Dan with Interact.
Thank you. I've already basically in the introduction done this slide, but the last part in bold, the identifying needs, plan projects, deliver service, and to assess that also is what service learning program teaches the kids. Next slide, please. Interact is for youth 12 to 18. Incoming Governor Jeff his club has the only one right now that has a middle school Interact. And looking forward to working more with that. Interact Club can be either school or community based. Our clubs are school based, they can be community based. And all that means is they're not tied to a school. It can be part of a neighborhood association, any type of community gathering area. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, what makes a successful Interact Club? The most important, and I can't emphasize this enough, is to find at whoever is going to sponsor the club day to day. And that's not usually the Rotarian, unless it's community based. It's someone from the school. You need to find someone who is active and involved. It is a lot of work to do an Interact Club right. And for example, our club has 3 sponsors at the school level, and they're all busy all the time. I am at the meetings every time they meet. I'm at most of their projects because I am the local sponsor for the club. And then other Rotarians join in on projects. They were doing a ramp project for the New Mexico ramp group. And what they do is the New Mexico group builds the ramps for handicapped people. And then the Interact Club comes in and stains the ramps to protect them from the weather. Uh, there has to be a commitment to 5520's youth protection policy and training. This is not negotiable. Rotary is not kidding. They are very serious, and our district is very serious about youth protection. And if it's done right, it's not a burden or an onus, but it is something that protects everybody involved in working with youth, especially the kids. Okay, sponsoring club involvement in interact projects and activities. You've got to have other Rotarians who are willing to step in. They're not one of the regular sponsors of the interact, but they step in and join the kids in some of their activities and projects. They come and support their community projects. Uh, that's the type of Rotary leadership that these young people see and shows them that this is not just something high school kids do. It's something that you can keep doing for the rest of your life. So, next slide. To get help starting a Rotaract club, go to My Rotary, sign in, participate, interact. All the forms are there. If you get confused with it, which can happen with Rotary website, uh, just give me a call or email me. I will get back to you. I will make sure that you get that information. And then I'll help you fill out forms, whatever you need. But we will get this done. So all that information in the email and the telephone is correct. If I am in a meeting, I will not answer the phone. So please leave a message. Thank you.
Dan, are you
Yes.
working with New Mexico Ramp with your ramp projects?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dan. And now over to Sandy Roush and the four-way test essay contest.
Well, thank you, Jen. I feel like we're on a radio show. This is great. Hi, I'm Sandy Roush, and I have been a Rotarian for over almost 10 years with the Rotary Club of Albuquerque del Norte. I've been the pandemic president and immediate past president, lieutenant governor, and current four-way test champion or chairperson for the four-way test. So, as incoming presidents, and first of all, thank you so much for becoming incoming presidents. That's amazing. Thank you, thank you. We know your career is going to be long and fruitful. And thank you to our district leaders, too, for stepping up and always being there for us. I really appreciate that. So this really is a simple program and with a powerful impact. So it's one of these programs that you can easily administer and get a big bang for your buck on it. So as incoming presidents, you're about to hear a lot of ideas, fundraisers, socials and service projects. But today I want to share one program that is simple, meaningful, and very Rotary. The four-way test essay contest is small in effort, but huge in impact, especially with middle school students and your community. And as a reminder, all of this information is on the District 5520 website. I think Jen, you went over where to find all those youth programs. So the four-way test instruction sheet basically is a PDF, and then there's a scoring sheet called a Rubik scoring sheet that's on there too. So that's where your helpful tools are. So just quickly, just by show of hands, how many clubs that are on today are planning on conducting a four-way test essay contest this year? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 5. 6. So that's about what unless I've miscounted, that's about what we had last year. 6, maybe 7. We have almost, Jeff, you can tell me exactly how many clubs we have now because I know we've gone down a little bit, but approximately 60 clubs. So that's about 10%. And we can do better than that. One year we had 18 clubs, but that was in 2018. So that's still not a very high participation rate. And this is an easy program to get your youths into Rotary and follow on. We have Interact and all these wonderful youth programs. So just keep that in mind. The deadline is March 25th this year, and you'll have your own internal deadlines for your individual clubs. Okay, so next slide, please. Thank you. So why does this program matter? Well, again, it reaches the middle school kids at a moment when they're figuring out who they are. And middle school is where ethical decisions, which is what Dan told you earlier, ethical decision making starts in this area, peer pressure, honesty, loyalty, social media. And Rotary shows up with a tool that helps them think before they act, and that's very, very powerful. It builds Rotary visibility and strengthens our school and community relationships. Next slide, Jen. Thank you. So this is the program in one slide, basically. You partner with your local schools, and students write a short essay using the four-way test as the standard. Your club selects a winner, and you can have first, second, third, and you can give cash prizes. And we also give to our teacher. And you honor your students at a Rotary meeting, not a banquet, massive committees. That's it. It's very basic, and it's one of those programs, like I said, that you can administer very easily. Okay, next slide. Okay, through the student's eye. So this is an academic writing exercise. What we do is we prompt the students to ask a question that to apply the four-way test to a real situation in their lives. And what you get are honest stories. Believe me, and it'll make you cry, a lot of these stories about cheating, bullying, standing up for someone, life challenges, or telling the truth when it's uncomfortable. And I wouldn't worry about AI at this point, because you really can tell an essay that's written with AI versus one that's written from the heart. And the students also have to come up with their own experience in writing this story for your AI. And there is an AI disclosure on the application that says, I did not use AI. But you can tell, I promise you. Okay, next slide. So here's an Albuquerque story. A local eighth grader here in Albuquerque wrote about being pressured to share answers during a test. Her friend was struggling and kept asking for help. She wanted to be kind, but she also knew it wasn't right. So she walked through each part of the four-way test in her essay and decided not to share the answers, even though she was afraid of losing her friends. And when she read the essay out loud at our Rotary meeting, honestly, the room went completely silent. You could feel it land. And one Rotarian said afterward, I wish I had learned this at my age, at her age, when I was that age, because that's when you realize when you get through all of these students that read their essays, that they really do understand the four-way test. And they get introduced to Rotary, the parents get introduced to Rotary, the teachers, it's quite amazing. Next slide, please. Thanks, Jen. So why does this work for your clubs? It's a program already set. It's a powerful meeting program. We usually schedule it in April after the district conference. It's easy community goodwill, and it gives you meeting with heart. Teachers and parents see Rotary as relevant. It's like most of them are first introduced to Rotary for the very first time. It's an easy story to share in your newsletter and on social media. And it reminds Rotarians why the four-way test matters beyond our meetings. We always go and we'll recite our four-way test, but when you see these students talking about their personal experiences, it really brings it home. And there's no major budget required for this as well. Okay, next slide. Thanks, Jen. Okay, here are your concerns. I don't have time. I don't know any of the schools. I don't have any volunteers. But in reality, it takes one Rotarian and a checklist. And I'm big on checklists, so it's very easy to administer. The truth is, it can be done by one Rotarian with a simple checklist. You don't need a heavy lift for a big impact. Thanks, Jen. Next slide. And one simple next step and one next task. Ask one member to serve as your four-way test essay chair or champion. And the first task is to contact one middle school principal, counselor, or teacher. Now,
We're
this year, and hello?
never mind. No.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Steve. I sent out 13 emails to 13 schools, the Catholic schools, and I sent out two APS schools. What we did is we used our high school that we're getting our RILA students from and used their feeder middle schools so that we would have the continuity between middle school and high school with that same chain. So, and then some charter schools. And we ended up with the same two schools that we had last year, but that's wonderful. I mean, you only need one school. You really only need to start with one school and have them do that's about 30 essays, 30 kids that'll do it. Um, and you don't need a committee. You do need some judges, so you just do that. And I already talked about what our SOAR percentages have been for this program, so we really need to beef it up. And again, and district gives out cash prizes. District invites the district winner to the district conference for them to present to the members. And we also had last year we had the Sandia High School guitar ensemble play for us at our meeting. So you can get real creative and have different entertainment along with your program. Okay, next slide, Jen. Thank you. And I love this slide because true rah-rah, we have Rotary support. It's Rotary branding. It's a proven structure. We have obviously district support. Look at all your leaders that are here today. And you're not starting from scratch. Rotary already provides all the language, all of the tools, the four-way test framework, and of course, again, like I said, district support. Other clubs have done this successfully and they're happy to share. Some will do a speak. That'll be a speech. It won't be a written essay. So you can be very creative. Sarah, our district chair, has talked about maybe in the future doing billboards or some other types of social media, some different things, but to get the four-way test message across. And the important thing is to be creative. So next slide, please. So final thoughts. The four-way test isn't about finding the perfect best writer for your students. It's about giving a young person a compass that they can use for the rest of their life. And you see, and when they get to RILA, they're doing the four-way test too. So this kind of all goes step by step by step. And it's a wonderful segue in between the different programs. And they get
Sandy, we actually got a question. Do you have any
Oh,
suggestions on how to transition four-way test participants into RILA prospects?
well, yes, by keeping your spreadsheet, by keeping all that information. In fact, Interact, you could start with Interact if you have an Interact program. Keep those kids' names. I know contact information changes, but yeah, keep a good database of who you're talking to. And more importantly, probably with the leaders at the schools because they know where those kids are going. Because the eighth graders are going to go into high school. And then those four-way test essay students are going to be in different high schools probably. And that's a good way to track them. But yeah, that's a great question.
Just one last one. Can previous
Yeah.
four-way test winners serve as judges in future contests?
We've talked about that, but we haven't done that yet. And I think that's a great idea. And I think everyone should share that around the horn there because that's a good one. Right now we're doing our Rotarians that are doing that. But RILA, how about RILA judges? The kids that are in RILA would be appropriate. I think that'd be great. Thank you. And remember, as presidents, delegate, delegate, delegate. You don't have to do everything. You're the commander in chief there. You got to go and get people involved. And the way to get new members, like our beautiful member Kathy Williams always says, a Rotarian needs a friend and a job. So make sure that happens in your clubs. And this this is the easiest program to administer, so this should be a no-brainer for everyone. I really think. And the best part, you can start it with one email. It's the easy peasy. So the next slide just has Sarah's contact information on it. Oops. Oh, I guess we missed that one.
We'll get it out there.
Okay, so Sarah Jones she's with our Rotary Club as well, Rotary Club of Albuquerque, and I think she's related to Dick somehow, right, Dick? And she has her cell phone will be on there, and then mine. Please call me. I mean, I've done this a lot, and I got all little ideas, and I'm sure everybody does too. But my phone number is 505-681-9801, and text or call me, and I'd be happy to help you with any of this. And remember about the website, and the scoring is all easy, and I really believe that if you're going to do one program, do this one. This one is huge bang for your buck, and it will follow through all of your youth programs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. And now over to the aforementioned Dick Jones on youth protection.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I am Dick Jones. I have served as district governor in 2009, 2010. And since that time, I've had several other roles and responsibilities within the district. And for the last number of years, one of those has included being the district youth protection officer. For all of these wonderful youth programs to work, we have to take care of our children, our young adults. And so back in 2000 something, the board of directors passed a code of conduct for working with youth. And this is it. You can all read it for yourself, but a couple of things that I want to point out within the code of conduct. It is for all of us to strive to provide a safe environment for the young adults and children that we work in. And it applies not only to Rotary members, but it applies to our partners, spouses, and any other volunteers that we invite to participate in these programs. One of the things that we talk about is including guests in our service projects, including our youth in our service projects. If any of those situations were to require one-on-one contact between an adult and a young person, then we would have to take the code of conduct and youth protection into consideration. So if we could have the next slide, please. I want to do the presentation a little different today. And instead of giving you a lot of information, I want you to be able to know where that information is provided by the district and by Rotary International. And if you can remember that we do have a code of conduct, that it is the responsibility of the district governor to see that our youth are protected within the district. And in your club, it is the club president who carries that responsibility. Governor Tom and the other governors have asked that I take on the responsibility and serve as the district youth protection officer. So I am working by delegation of the district governor. If a Rotarian has this one-to-one contact with the individual, they need to have go through a certification process, which is very simple. And I am going to pause at this point and say that the youth protection policy that I am speaking of this morning applies to all Rotary programs within the district, with a codicil regarding the youth exchange program. They participate in everything included in what we are talking about. However, because the child or young adult is placed in a home without, for an extended period of time, there are significantly more requirements upon that family and those individuals. So when you get involved in a youth exchange program, Bianca and her committee will give you the details of where we differ. But the process is really very simple. It starts with 3 simple steps. You go through a background check, which is filling out a simple form, signing it, which gives me authorization to run a background check. We do use a third party service to provide those checks. All of our RILA counselors have been going through this process for at least the last 10 years, and the certification is good for 1 year. We repeat the background check annually, and we ask that the participants complete the Learning Center course annually. The Learning Center course can be is easily found. It is on rotary.org, and go to the Learning Center, and all you have to do is type in Protecting Rotary Youth, and it will bring up the course. It's about a 20-minute course. After you complete it, you get a certificate. You send me a copy of that certificate, and then you sign. The final step is you sign an agreement that you do understand the Rotary policies and procedures, and you're willing to uphold them and abide by the rules and regulations.
Quick question, Dick, on that from the
Yes,
audience. Non-Rotarians, can they get access to that Learning Center course?
they absolutely can. They must if they are going to participate in the program. What Rotarians and non-Rotarians have to do is sign on to rotary.org, click My Rotary. There it will ask you to sign in. If you are new to Rotary, either a new Rotarian or a non-Rotarian, you create an account. That account must have a unique email address. So a husband and wife can't share the same email address. A club can't set up one email address for Rotary business. It has to be totally unique. And that is going to become your link to Rotary International. So you need to maintain that and password protect it. But at most, if they were doing maintenance on the system, you could set up the account and have access the next day. But yes, it is accessible. So if we could have the next slide. These are some screenshots that I have taken from the district website. In the one to the right, which is our home page, you will see that the youth protection / crisis management is the top button there. And in that pop-up window just below it, you will see 3 options. The emergency contact list is the name and address and phone numbers of all of the district leadership, all of the youth protection leadership, and all of the program leaders. If you click the second button, that gives you the page that you see on the left, which is our youth protection page, and it has an overview to youth protection. It has our policy and procedures, which parallel Rotary International's policies and procedures. We have a transportation policy. Rotary did not have a transportation policy, and we felt that there was significant exposure to our youth while transporting them to various events across the district or to RILA, that we established the youth, the transportation policy. Following that, we have an abuse and harassment guidelines and report. If something happens, you would look there for the steps required to report an incident. The next one is where you get into the volunteer application. That tells you basically what I've told you this morning. The next to the last one is the application itself. You can click on that. You can download a PDF fillable application form, fill that out, send it to me. There's been a question brought up annually about social security numbers. These are secure websites. They're coming to me, and I'm the only one that has access to them. We have never had a problem. Our vendor has us go through training to assure that we're protecting all of your rights. So if you are comfortable inserting your social security number there, go ahead. If you're not, just send me an email or a text, and you can call me and leave your social on my voicemail. I am the only one that has access to that voicemail, or give me a phone number and I will call you back and you can give it to me personally. And then finally is the privacy agreement, which basically says that you understand that we do not talk about any of these situations to anyone. We don't talk about them to our board members. We don't talk about them to our club leaderships. If you encounter a situation, you report it to your club president or you report it to me. I will report it to the district governor, and we will have a small committee that will process, investigate, and report to Rotary International as necessary. These matters are private. They are not confidential because I am required to report to Rotary. I'm required to report to our leadership. If it's serious enough, I am required to report it to the police. So stress to the involved parties that these are private matters. We do not talk to them. We will keep them confined to a very small group of people, but they are not confidential. And with that, I'm going to open it up to see if there's any questions. Here's all my contact information if you need to get in touch with me. I'll take a few questions now if we have time. If not, I will be available at this address. I will also be at the PELS training in a few weeks, and you can talk to me there.
Laura has a question or a comment.
Yes.
I have both. So first of all, I put a link in the chat to an AI presentation I'm doing for South Central Rotary Youth Exchange on March 4th, talking about AI. And it says how AI can help you, but it's also, how it can impact our youth. And so if you are interested in that, if you're involved in any youth programs or you have any youth in your life, it's a really excellent one to go to. Secondly, we had a question for Bianca back, which I think we're going to let Suzanne ask her question first, but it was what countries or how do we choose what countries are available?
Suzanne, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, if as president, I'm the person in the club who's responsible for this, does that mean I need to take that training and get a background check and so on?
I would recommend that every club president get a background check and take that training, because as the club president, yes, you are responsible. You have to be able to determine whether or not it is something that you should be concerned about. And if there's ever any question, we act um, in the course of the safety of the child first. And the first question we always ask is the child safe? If the child is safe, we breathe a breath of relief, and then we start investigating the situation to the best of our abilities. But yes, I would encourage you. Now, the district does give me a budget to process background checks. So there is no cost to you. There is no cost to the club. In the case of a club running, well, in the case of RILA, all of the participants in RILA have a background check. We've been in the process for about a month, starting to get those individuals certified. They have a line item in their budget that take care of that. But for the club related background checks, the district does give me a budget. So if you have a program that you want to do, I'll be happy to run the background check on that. And the district will pay for it. The youth protection is gaining enough awareness within the district that we are getting clubs that are having more people, the background checks run on more people. It costs me about $25, or costs us about $25 per individual to get the background check run. So right now I'm saying 5 or 6 individuals per club, and then we're going to start asking you to pay for it so that we can spread it across the remaining clubs in the district. But we have not reached our limit on our budget, so at this point, feel free to go ahead and submit your own applications. And if there's a question about how many in your club you need to get certified, we can talk about that. Richard, did you have a question?
Well, it's probably be, yeah, I might as well. Sadly, we don't have Interact. We may not do RILA. We probably won't. And so I don't think we probably have to worry about abuse for the 4-way test or the book program or anything like that. But I mean, I can certainly still do it as president. Yeah, it seems like this is mostly about RILA and the FYE. Is that kind of right?
Well, not really, because there's all kinds of opportunities to involve youth. Let's say you were going to do a highway cleanup and you found out that some kids from the high school were going to come out and work with you. We're willing to do that. It might be a program that is not a day-to-day program of the club. So I would encourage you to go ahead and be prepared. They tell us in membership and service the best way to contact new club members is to involve them in our service projects. And I would say that that applies to recruiting Rylarians and youth exchange students, include them in our projects. So, in that way of thinking, I would say yes, go ahead and uh, get yourself cleared.
I put a cold sweat icon in the chat when I think about background checks for me. So just kidding, just adding a little levity. Last question, Warren, if you want to go ahead. You are
You're
on mute.
muted. Yeah.
If we're running a ramp build project that includes from time to time youth participants, who needs to get the background check? All the adult participants or just the adult leadership?
I would say just the adult leadership. If you're transporting any of the students to or from the ramp build, or it might be the case where there's only going to be one adult supervisor on site, those are the people that should have the background check.
Thank you.
And we're going to just have Bianca answer the country question quickly about how countries are chosen, and then we'll go to a break.
Yes. Thanks, Roger. So first thing is when we start interviewing the students, we give them our list of countries we work with, and they get to choose their top 3. And that changes from when we first interview until we final interview. And then once we have that list from our outbound applicants, we select. If we have 5 countries and they're all different, then they'll all get their first choice. If we have several that want, one year we had 10 that wanted France and said that's not going to happen. So then we go based on, does the country require a language? Do they have that language? Some countries have age requirements. They won't take anybody over 17 or over 18. Their personalities, that we take that into effect. I mean, Brazil and Taiwan, 2 totally different cultural experiences where we take that into consideration when we send our students where they want to go. And then in some rare instances, we have parents, for certain job reasons, their students can't go to certain countries. And so that is also taken into consideration. If we have, somebody with a job that says, hey, you can't have relations with this country, then we make sure that we have that information so we don't send the student there. We are also open to new countries. We've added a few since we started. And that just, again, based on our students and based on our contacts and what we know about that other district that we don't know about. We have other people that we can reach out to and say, have you dealt with them and what are they like?
I will be sending the slides. Sounds like it does. And I will be sending the slides, Bianca, after, but is there a list of youth exchange countries available on the web?
It is. It's on the slide.
Yeah, it's on the slide, which I will send, I guess, also on the website.
If you want a country other than the ones I've listed, let me know. Reach out to me.
Sounds good. All right, now I'm going to wrap it up there for now. Let's take a 5-minute break. And we'll come back here at 10:24, and I'll pause the recording.